What it do, y'all? It's your girl Makeup and Travel, and for today's video I am bringing another video just kind of wrapping up my no buy and just talking about it, understanding it, and learning from it. So today I'm going to be focusing in on the palettes that I actually purchased during my no buy. Yes, that's right, I purchased palettes during my no buy. For me, I had reasons why I was allowing myself to purchase certain things, and then there were other months where I was just like, you can't stop me, you can't clock me, bow. And so I purchased palettes. I had about 2 months where that happened. I think one was October, the other one might have been August maybe. Those 2 months you couldn't clock me at all, and you couldn't stop me. So I have 8 palettes that I'm going to be talking about. 2 of them were actually gifted to me. I did not purchase all of these, so I personally only purchased 6 of them. And yeah, I don't want to get too far into it, but in case you are interested in hearing about these 8 palettes, let's get into it. And yes, I did record this video, and yes, it should be going up before this video. Who knows? Let's get into it. Alrighty guys, so like I said, I personally purchased 6 eyeshadow palettes and then I was gifted 2 of them. I'm gonna first just go in the order that I received these palettes, both between gifts and me actually purchasing them. And the very first palette I got last December for my birthday / Christmas was from my best friend, and she got me this Violet Voss Coral palette. I am so happy that she picked this palette up for me. I was really excited to try out Violet Voss's formula, but also this is very unique color scheme to my collection, and that's why I wanted to pick it up. I do want to get some more use out of it. I'm really wanting to touch these orangey tones and these deep mauve tones. I want to get more use out of them, and I can't wait, and I'm very excited. I did do at least 1 video on this palette, and I will have it linked down below for you all. So after this, I had a huge hiatus where I did not pick up anything. I mean, not a thing at all. And somebody else gifted me something, and she's one of you guys, and I'm still so appreciative. And she picked up the ABH Jackie Aina palette for me. I just dropped the brush. This is my favorite ABH palette, and that is a very bold statement for me to say because I love Subculture and I love Prism, but this is my favorite ABH palette. Not only because she got it for me, but also I just really enjoy the color scheme. I love that it combines these interesting neutrals, in my opinion, with these purples and these reds and this pinky section. For me, purples are my go-to. Purple shadow was actually the first shadow that I put on. It was the first shadow I ever purchased, and so having something like this is just really nice, and I am still so appreciative. And yeah, this was the second palette that came into my collection during my no buy year. Then once again, there was quite a bit of hiatus, and then we got into me starting off my first Oops-a-Daisy month, and I purchased my Natasha Denona bronze palette. Now with this palette, I actually picked this up with my Beautylish gift card after the gift card event the year before, and I enjoyed this palette. I did, I believe, 2 looks with it, or 2 videos with this palette. I know I did 3 looks 1 palette, and I know I did a first impression. I really enjoy this palette. I love the different colored neutrals, and this dark shade right here, this cream to powder matte, is really what makes and breaks this palette for me. Without that shade, this palette would have not been something that I kept. I would have sent it back. So I'm very happy with this palette, very appreciative of it, and I cannot wait to get even more use out of it. Then after that, it was like the dams broke. And although it didn't break necessarily with eyeshadow palettes, it still broke, child. It still broke. And that same month, I picked up the Tiny Marvels palette in collaboration with Sydney Grace and Mel Thompson. This is a really interesting, funky, neutral palette palette with pops of colors. I feel like this is beautiful for the fall time, and even low-key can be used in the springtime as well. I really enjoyed this palette. There are definitely some shades that I enjoyed more than others. I love Walking Stick, really interesting undertone. Same with Love Bug. All of these deeper mattes, I just 10 out of 10 for this palette in my opinion. Then we have 4 palettes left, and it gets a wee bit tricky because I bought 2 in the same month. Well, I bought I bought 2 in each month, so we're just gonna go. So the next one I got was Nomad Cosmetics Gina Magica palette. This is a very interesting palette, not only for my collection but also for Nomad Cosmetics collection in my opinion. I do appreciate it for what it is, but I also do wish that there was some deeper shades just so I could get more diversity and more fun with this palette. I do really enjoy the palette overall, and I'm actually really happy that this shimmery yellow is actually a shimmery yellow and it's not a fake yellow. So cheers to that, and cheers to the palette overall. Then we have my Caladios Lunar Lavender palette. Now this was the second palette that I picked up from this brand, and I decided to pick it up because it was just such a beautiful color scheme. I just really had to try it, and I'm happy I did. I really did enjoy this formula a lot more than the VR Neon palette, and these metallics are outstanding, beautiful. I already have pretty nice dip in that one, and I can't wait to get more use out of this palette in general, and then maybe even pick up 1 or 2 more palettes from this brand. Okay, then we have 2 palettes left, and first I got, technically I think was this one, which is the DJ Unique Boutique The Reasons Holiday palette. I have done 3 videos. Oh, I think I stopped saying that. I did 2 videos with that one. I did 2 videos with this one, and I did 3 videos with this one. And I enjoy everything of this palette. The only palette, wow. The only shade I wish had a little more something is this orange. In my opinion, it's just a little too pigmented. I would love a little bit more saturation from this shade, but otherwise I enjoy this palette immensely. Really happy with it, and I highly recommend the palette. And then the last palette I picked up during this no buy was this, well, the last palette that I've received is this Melt Cosmetics 420 palette. By the time this video goes up, you guys will have seen 2 videos featuring this palette. You would have seen a first impressions and a 3 looks 1 palette. I'm considering doing maybe 1 or 2 more videos with this palette, who knows, but I really did. I'm happy I picked this up. Did I enjoy it? That's debatable. Would I recommend it? No. So I would definitely check out that 3 looks 1 palette and review in case you are interested on my full thoughts on this palette. And yeah, so those are all the palettes. I will hopefully have my editing life together, and everything will be linked associated with these palettes down below, as well as their websites, so that you guys can pick them up at their respective websites. So overall, am I disappointed with any of these palettes? No. And I know that's interesting, especially if you did watch my Melt Cosmetics review, but I'm not disappointed. I'm disappointed in the fact that, like, I was not overly happy with the formula, but I am happy that I tried that palette, and I am happy that that palette is in my collection. So it's kind of a twofold situation going on there. Now I think it would be very interesting to rank these palettes. So I'm just going to take some time, put these in order, and then I will go ahead and rank them for you and explain why they are ranked in their respective order. Alrighty, so I am going to just go ahead and start off with the number 8 palette, and for that it is going to go to my Melt Cosmetics 420 palette. Now I absolutely adore this color scheme, and I think this color scheme is genuinely where it is at. It is just the fact that there's way too many duds and just not beautifully working shadows in this palette that I could not rank this higher. Purely that is the only reason. Had this palette actually effectively all been working cohesively and actually accurately, this palette would have been extremely higher in this ranking. But yeah, and I do want to preface this by saying I do enjoy all of these palettes. None of these palettes are getting decluttered. Just putting that out there. Next I would say is my Violet Voss Coral Crush palette. So I really do enjoy this palette. I think the pigmentation is beautiful. I just prefer the next palette more, and they have very similar color schemes, so that's just why I just prefer that formula better, just because I'm so used to it. And it just, I don't know. Give me 2 minutes and I'll switch them back to where they originally were. So who knows? Next we're going to say is the Nomad Cosmetics Gina Magica palette. I just really enjoy this formula. I really enjoy their metallics. I think it's really nice. I do wish that they had the more true kind of duochrome shades in this palette, but they don't. And I really enjoy that Toda La Vida shade. Very unique shade, especially for this palette. I feel like it really adds something unique and different. So that is going to be number 6. Number 5 is going to my DJ Unique Boutique The Reasons palette. And honestly guys, these top 5, it was so hard, and literally the only reason why this one is number 5 is just because of this shade. Had that shade been as pigmented, in my opinion, as all the other shades, this would have been a lot higher. But this part, it was just so hard to really narrow down my decisions and really just be an effective ranker. So yeah. Next I have my Kaladios Cosmetics Lunar Lavender palette. Why? As much as I enjoy this, as much as I was able to get, in my opinion, 3 different and unique looks. So if anything looks different, I had to change my battery. But like I was saying, I still feel constricted by the fact that this is a 6-pan palette. So for that reason alone, this one had to be ranked number 4. But like I said, this is a lot better than the first Caladios palette that I picked up. So I may be picking up another palette from this brand, and just all of these brands in general. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be picking up at least one more palette that interests me. I'm not going to just pick up something just to pick it up, but I'm going to pick up something else that interests me. Next is the ABH Jackie Aina palette. These top 3, I was like, I don't know what I want to choose. I just had to just throw them down and let the cards fall as they may, have as you will. And I just, this is such a beautiful formula. I really do enjoy ABH's formula in this packaging. And I really do enjoy this color scheme, but just for some reason, the other ones just like edged her out. So this is getting number 3. Number 2, can you guess? Do you know? Shout out down below if you think you can guess before I get to it. Pause this part, you know, all that jazz, and continue. Okay, number 2 is my Natasha Denona bronze palette. I know, unheard of, but just, I enjoy this palette. I really do. But for me, the reason that I put this at number 2 instead of number 1 is because without this deep shade, I would not like this palette at all. And I just feel as though I should have an option with more deep shades than just one, you know? So for me, it's not extremely perfect. Like, I don't need beach. And I'm pretty sure I said that in my review. I don't need beach, sundown, and ridge. I would prefer to keep ridge if I had to and get rid of one of these 2. And I felt like, and I feel like she could have gotten rid of one of those 2 and given me a deeper matte. So for that reason, Sis had to be number 2. And then of course that leaves number 1 to being my Tiny Marvels Sydney Grace and Mel Thompson palette. I just feel like this palette gives me so much variety and depth and lightness and also color and neutrality. And I really enjoy this palette immensely. I've always enjoyed Sydney Grace's formula. I have quite an obscene collection when it comes to their singles. And having a palette now, it just rounds it all out. I wish I enjoyed the color schemes of some of their other palettes, but they just don't tickle me. They don't tickle my fickle, you know? So I'm not going to pick any of those up. But yeah, I just thought this would be really cool to break down each palette and that I picked up during my no buy year. In case you are wondering, I do have 2 other palettes that while I am recording are either in production to come to me or I have actually physically purchased them. The 2 palettes are the Stroke Cosmetics and Butte Bean It's Frickin' Bats palette, and then the 50/50 Makeup Autumn palette. Both of those I purchased on pre-order, and when they get to me, they get to me. And so because I don't physically have them, I'm not counting them in this because I can't tell you if I like the formula or not because I don't have them. And I've quite literally never tried either of those brands. So I'm excited to try both brand, and we'll see what happens. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. I do intend to do a roundup of all of the things I picked up during my no buy year. It'll be quite interesting because a lot of them are cream products. I do need to go back through one of my cream products just to test it out even more because right now sis ain't hitting it. It just ain't hitting it. But I would love to hear you guys' opinions on any of these palettes. Do you guys want more videos with these palettes? Would you guys like more eye swatching maybe with any of these? Let me know. Let your girl know because I'm willing to do it. I just need to know what you guys are interested in. I think that is it. I don't think I have anything else to say. And for that reason, I am going to say that's all she wrote, folks. And as always, y'all, remember, Black lives do matter. Please remember to wear a mask. Be safe. Please remember to register to vote. And to vote, do look down in my description box. I always have important information I feel that I would like you guys to know, such as information on how to learn more about ending SARS, my foundation shades, all of that important jazz is going to be down below in my description box. I would also always love it if you guys would subscribe if you are interested in me and my content. I really do enjoy indie brands and testing them out on my chocolate skin, and I also would love it if you guys just give me a thumbs up, but if not, that's all good, and I will see you guys in my next video.